Hi guys, I'm Paul Kinlan. I'm a developer advocate at Google, and I'm working on. Well, I've been working on the Web Lab project with these guys here, Roger and Matthias. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I got it right again. So, guys, do you want to give yourself a little bit of introduction about who you are, what you do, where you're from?
I'm Roger. I'm from Barcelona. I'm a creative technologist at BeReal, and I've been the technical lead of this project.
And I'm Matthias. I'm a creative technologist as well. I'm from Uppsala, a small city in Sweden, and I've been working mainly on the orchestra.
Cool. So yes, today's talk at least is about the Universal Orchestra experiment. For those who don't know about Web Lab, I'll just give you a little bit of a background to it. Web Lab is a series of 5 real-world Chrome experiments based inside the British Science Museum here in London, but with a real solid internet presence. So every experiment that you can interact with at the museum, you can also interact with at home, online, in work, through your browser. Now, the really interesting thing as well is that, for me at least, that the experiences that you have on on your desktop machine are really quite similar to the experiences that you have inside the museum itself. So that's pretty cool. But the second most important thing is that everything you do inside the museum is recorded against your own unique lab tag, which if you watch the lab tag explorer hangout that we did earlier on, you will see that basically you can go home, put your camera or put the lab tag up in front of your camera, and then get access to everything that you just created in the museum as well as online as well. So it's a pretty cool experience, right? And today is the pièce de résistance. I don't know whether that's right what I'm saying. It's one of the best things about the museum is the Universal Orchestra experiment. Which, if we've done this right, you'll hear in the background playing. So the Universal Orchestra is, I think it's about 8 instruments.
Yep, 8 instruments. 8
physical, real instruments, as you can kind of see in the background right now. We've got drums, marimbas,
kalimba.
Yes, kalimba. There's like all these instruments that I've never heard of, right? Ever. They're awesome, though, right? And you can interact with them either at the museum or online, and you can make a band, like the two join together, right? It's like this is the experiment where both sides kind of come together into one big experience, right?
Yeah, so and the thought behind this is to show real-time collaboration, and that internet is facilitating that for you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So should we dive in?
Yeah,
let's have a look. As with every Hangout, I normally mention how this was made. I only learned this myself just recently, and I'm not going to tell you. No, it was it Swiffy? It was a flash file, Swiffyized, which is a Google tool.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a Google tool on code.google.com. Passed through that and made into HTML and JavaScript. So this is actually really interesting right now. Is we have 2 different modes. We have the real-time mode, and we're going to go through both. So this is along with a normal Hangout, essentially. But we're going to go through both. One is like the online version, which I say online, the one that interacts with the real instruments. But sometimes those instruments might be fully booked up with people kind of playing online at the time, or inside the museum, and you can get a pure online virtual experience as well. We'll dive into the real museum, the museum experience first. Now, the really cool thing about this for me is this is a live stream of the museum, isn't it? It's only like a couple of seconds delayed, is it? Maybe a second or so delayed.
I think around here it might be 4 or 5 seconds, and then when you get in live, it's 3 seconds.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's buffering right now, but I'll blame YouTube for that. So we'll jump into it at least. So we'll jump in again. This is the live view of the experiment. We have our different instruments. There's one person playing at the moment. Which is a good instrument? Should we jump in and play an instrument straight away?
Let's go for the steel drums.
Steel drums. There we are. So we'll join the queue. So this is the steel drum playing at the museum right now.
Yeah.
There is no one in the queue for this one, so we should be able to jump on pretty quick. I imagine if we joined at a busy time, we'll have a bit of a wait.
Yeah. And during the opening time of the museum, four instruments are reserved for museum users.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually when I took the kids to the museum. That was the good thing, is that we could actually get on. And I was worried about people kind of coming online and stealing an instrument from me. But it wasn't like that. I got to play it myself. So let's join the queue. We're going to queue. It says in less than a minute, so we'll have a chat for a minute or so, shall we? Hey, we're done. So we're in. We have a minute to respond. I'm ready. Let's jump in. I love how this whole experiment, right, is like all the experiments, seamless navigation between the views. It's pretty cool. So was this? Oh, so we've actually got 6 different notes that we can play on this kind of grid. It's if you're familiar with like MIDI synthesizers and sequences and all that type of stuff, it's a similar type of thing. Should we put some on?
Yeah.
Well, should we have a listen to what's playing in the background first? Sounds cool. So what you'll find is actually we're doing this, we can't actually hear what's happening because otherwise the microphone audio will be a little bit crazy. But we have 2 instruments left that we can position. Can you explain to me a little bit about what's going on? Why the button kind of glowed and slowly went out and wasn't there straight away?
Yeah. So normally when it comes to real-time collaboration, people don't see the latency, which here is 3 seconds, and we wanted to show it. So it's actually you have done something, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So that's what we're showing off, and that's why the physics of the blobs are as they are. So if you drag one, it will stop, and you release it, and you know it's going to get there, but it hasn't yet got there. So now it has.
I like that effect. So it's kind of interesting because what we're trying to show is that actually there's up to 8 different participants, and they all need to be synchronized to hear the same piece of music roughly about the same time, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll just be a terrible, music experience, right? If they wasn't playing it out. So the other video before was YouTube Live. Is this a YouTube Live video, or is this?
No, this is one with lower latency. So we're going directly to the source and getting the video from there.
Oh, pretty cool. So I pretty much see what's happening with a minimal delay between the 2.
And we wanted to make sure that the audio was in sync with the visuals as well. So that's where the 3-second buffering time comes from.
I really like that. It feels nice, right? It feels, that there's like it feels slow. Not slow. It feels gluey. It's like you get it across, but it feels kind of nice the way that you're showing that there is latency. But normally what happens is, on the web it's terrible. Normally it's like white screen, or you'll see things like kind of load in and all that type of stuff. It feels kind of nice the way that this is.
Or it could be faked as well, kind of showing a delay when you actually know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But this is what's going on.
Yeah. This is pretty cool. So I mean, this is gonna sound silly, right? I mean, what is the is this canvas just a canvas thing?
Yeah.
It's
a 2D canvas.
Yeah.
Drawing everything on every frame.
Nice. So how how are the clients all synchronized? I mean, it's pretty hard to synchronize 2 people together just normally. I mean, we've got 8 people synchronized now with this, with the user interface.
Yeah.
I mean, can you explain a little bit how the actual synchronization works?
Yeah. So everyone gets the time from the timestamp in the video. So it doesn't matter what your clocks say on the system. It's what the video says the time is that dictates how it's going to be shown. And then we're using WebSockets to broadcast all the messages to everyone. So they here in a matter of milliseconds, they can see what's happening.
Okay, so something happens. Basically, you on the client, you'll send it to the server via a WebSocket, I presume, as well, and then do you have to wait for it to be synchronized on the service before you then send that back out to all the clients? Is that what you're saying? Or?
Yeah. So we have the real-time server that takes care of all that synchronization, sends it to the museum, and gets a reply back. I'm gonna play this note at this time. Sends it out to everyone else. Nice. But before it got the reply from the museum, it has already broadcasted out. This is gonna happen.
I got you. It's like the confirmation.
Just don't know the time when it's gonna happen, but it's coming.
Cool. So I mean, App Engine doesn't support WebSockets, right? And you're using WebSockets. So how did you actually build? I mean, that part out, was it like a Node.js server or something?
Yeah, so we have a Node.js server, so all JavaScript running.
Yeah. Is it a lot of code? I imagine it's not.
It's not that much.
Yeah.
We implemented the WebSockets from scratch, just reading the specification and sending as small messages as possible. So they are around 4 or 5 bytes every message that are sent out.
It's pretty small, isn't it?
Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
And we use App Engine for the queuing. So
yeah, actually, we didn't talk about that. So I mean, how does the queuing work? Because I can imagine that there's only like 4 instruments that you can play at any one particular time. If you have a lot of people visiting the museum, obviously they can queue up in a physical line. I mean, if you're online, how does that work?
Yeah, so what we saw earlier was the little bar at the top saying how far you are into the queue and how long you have to wait. So yeah, people are just queuing up, and if you're queuing, yeah, you can play the virtual experience to interact with other while you're waiting.
Yeah, cool. So I mean, what type of technology do you use in the back end to actually manage the queue? Is it just like you poll every so often, or is it task or?
Yeah, it's polling. So,
okay.
Which App Engine is good at doing.
Yeah, it's pretty good at scaling that stuff out. That's pretty interesting. Is it? So it's like it is literally a first in, first out queue.
Yeah.
You just basically manage and kind of pop it off. That's pretty cool. So that was actually quicker than I thought it would be. Should we have a look at the live online experience? This is actually pretty cool as well. So the thing I like about the museum one is that you are playing the instruments with the people in the museum, and you get the live stream back, and it's pretty nice. What should we say about the play online version? I mean, why was this created? Was this
just for more people to play?
Yeah.
We were thinking if it's a long queue, then people will still want to do something, and having a virtual one enables us to have hundreds of users at the same time instead of just 8.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's load the sequencer and see how it goes. Is there anything? I mean, fundamentally, it seems like a relatively similar concept between the real physical machine, kind of the installation version, and the actual online version. I mean, is it literally the same code, or is it?
Yeah, for the display and for the interaction between it. But then here we're using audio API to play the samples, which are taken from the instruments in the museum.
Cool. So I mean, how do you play the audio? I mean, I'm just going to put some stuff on. Well, there's actually quite a few people playing now, so let's play the thing. I can't remember what it's called. That's pretty cool. I like that. It's nice. There we are. So yeah, I mean, what did I ask the question? What was the question? Yeah. So how do you actually play? I mean, you said you were playing like the audio back, and you pre-sampled the sounds and everything. Yeah. The audio tag in most browsers is known to be very like sensitive to latency. I say sensitive. Yeah. It's very latent. You know, it's a high latency. I mean, how did you get around this? Because it seems like it's pretty responsive. You know, as soon as it says it's going to play it, it plays it. How did you do that? Did you use the audio tag, web audio? I mean,
we're using web audio for this one, which is perfect for this kind, and you can just tell it when to start playing a sound, and it's played exactly at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a background loop of 4 bars, and then we add on top of that, and everything stays synchronized, which would be impossible with the audio tag.
Yeah, I imagine as well, you don't particularly need an amazing amount of like every client to be amazingly in sequence with each of these now. It's because it's not playing the physical instrument and streaming it back out.
So they are actually playing. You don't know if they are at the same bar as you, but they get your changes. So
no, this is pretty cool. I really like the effect that when 2 people are sharing kind of the same, you know, the same note essentially at the same time. You get a nice little animation. I presume that's just a normal canvas animation between the 2.
Yeah.
Cool. So I mean, you have this button here that says record session. How does that work?
So that one, we are just recording all the changes and what's been playing. Mm-hmm. And when we play it back, we start the same thing. We start a player and this interface to show it off. So it doesn't generate an audio file.
Oh, so it's not generate. Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. So it's not generating a physical audio file. It generates like a MIDI file essentially, where it's like the note to play at a particular time, and then you just re-record that. And so if I press stop, does it cancel it, or
it will cancel it? So.
Oh, I'll leave that. I'll let it go for another 4 seconds. Then. This is pretty cool. So let's see how this works. Oh, that's nice. Yep, save to lab. It's doing its magic. I'll share
And
it with
here,
friends, so we can play it from there.
You can see all the changes happening.
Yeah, that's really cool. Oh, that's when I moved it down as well.
Yeah.
That's really nice. And that again is just a canvas animation with web audio playing.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people kind of are worried about kind of starting to play with web audio, and you know, obviously it's a Chrome thing. Well, it's Chrome and Safari now, at least anyway. I mean, did you have any issues with web audio itself? I mean, it was relatively immature, I think, when you guys started the project.
Yeah, it was simply straightforward from the beginning. It's quite an easy thing to get into.
Sweet.
It's just you have samples that you want to play, and you can add effects, and you don't have to code that much. You can just take the good things and connect it together.
Less trouble than the audio tag.
Really?
Yeah.
Although it seems easier to use, it's not at the end of the day. So.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's the first thing that people naturally gravitate towards is the audio tag, because you have a dot play or a dot play and dot pause essentially, which I always thought should have been stopped, but regardless.
even looping, for example, on the audio tags is quite tricky to
get
it right. So.
Yeah, I really like this. I didn't actually realize that you didn't physically record the output, so you just record the events essentially.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I like that. My big thing about this, I like the collaborative aspect of it. It's one thing that I find that is most powerful about the web. When you're trying to compare like native applications and web applications, is we tend on the web to have always been building kind of collaborative based experiences. We find it a lot easier to do than on native platforms. I think this one really kind of shows off, you know, a lot of really cool stuff. And the fact is, I mean, when we actually demoed this before, we were practicing what happened and no one was playing at the time. We were kind of worried. So we've got quite a few people now playing from Brazil, United States.
And it's quite interesting to see where people are playing from.
Yeah.
Someone in Mexico sitting there playing the exact same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if they think that I'm a cool like musician.
Yeah.
Hey, he's really good, this guy. It's nice.
And what you can say about the virtual as well, you see the latency of WebSockets there, because in the one in the museum, it's the delay of the video to get that synced.
Yeah.
But for the virtual, we don't have that, so you see it when you drag it, it kind of releases directly.
Yeah.
And it's been traveling all the way to, I think Las Vegas is where our server is.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane. I'm just amazed at the level of awesomeness that this I like all the projects. I think this is my favorite of the 5 experiments altogether. I like the fact that you can just stream it through. You can actually see what's happening in the museum. And I remember the other day I saw someone actually fixing the machine. I was planning all the hangouts and everything, and I was like, oh, there's someone fixing the machine, and they were like just like moving stuff around a little bit, and it was just nice. It's just the whole thing was just a nice.
And you can see people dance around.
Yeah.
Around the instruments.
That's pretty cool. That's very good. The other thing is I like the confluence of like YouTube Live to actually kind of handle the scaling up, because I can imagine that there's like lots and lots of people always on this page, and then when you get to your own kind of, you know, your own instrument, well, you know that you can deliver a direct channel to the person then, right? You don't need to scale that out so much. You need to make sure it works, right? But you don't need to kind of check too much on there. It's pretty cool. I like that. It's good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
So I think that is the end of this hangout, at least. If you'd like to learn more, we're going to have some articles on HTML5 Rocks. These guys are going to produce an article on HTML5 Rocks. If not, see, this is it. So we're going to hopefully try and do a bit more of a technical deep dive. This is obviously, this like sits in the middle of the documentation on the site, which is under how it works, and the actual like the kind of very more technical information. We're trying to give you kind of like a nice little kind of middle ground of kind of showing you how the technologies we use together and how, how the guys built it. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.